Hello and welcome to the Behind the Stripes football webcast. This is sports editor Joe Walljasper along with Tribune football beat writer Dave Matter. Dave, about 1 week of preseason practice in the books. Let's go over a few storylines here. First of all, I think we were both kind of curious about the receiver core coming into the preseason, like if there was going to be some playmakers emerge there. Just your thoughts after a week of whether that's happening.
There hasn't been too much change on the depth chart yet, and they usually don't make those changes until after the scrimmages when they really get to see how the guys play in pads and in live competition, live drills. Right now, I think the one guy that could move up and play a lot this year is TJ Moe. I mean, every practice you watch there, and he is, if not the most active receiver, he's just so consistent. He catches everything. He gets open. He makes plays downfield. I mean, at some point, I think he's going to have to be in that starting lineup. And he's the backup to Jarrell Jackson at their slot position. Jackson is a guy who can move over and play one of the other positions, or they can rotate them in and out. And I think they can get a lot of situations, too, where they're both on the field at the same time, if they are two of the four best receivers that they have out there. So at some point, I think we'll see him move up because he's too good, he's too smart, he's too physical, and everything they ask that position to do to leave on the bench. So he's been really impressive. Wes Kemp is always going to be that guy on the outside, kind of a possession guy. I don't think he'll ever put up huge numbers, but he's a guy that they count on. He does a lot of blocking and a lot of things on the outside. I think it's the inside guys that this offense is going to go through this year. David Yost more or less told me that last week, and that's where the offense kind of flows through, is the tight ends in this offense and those slot receivers. So Jarrell Jackson, TJ Moe, and Michael Agnew, I think could be your top guys. Just the way that the structure of this offense works kind of from the inside out.
What about the true freshmen? I think we've all been impressed with Marcus Lucas, true freshman, Bud Sasser, and Jimmy Hunt.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance that all three could play this year?
There's a chance, and it's interesting because they redshirted three freshmen from a year ago at that position. Kerwin Stricker, Jaleel Clark, and who's the third? It's probably not a good sign that I can't remember who it is. But that's kind of the story that could these guys surpass the guys that are a year older than them if they're that much better? LaDainian Washington, there we go. I think they have the chance to do that, and they're going to have to make some decisions there. And I don't think they necessarily have to make that decision before the Illinois game. Sometimes they wait on a guy until conference play begins if they think they can really help them. But there are times where you're turning your head and seeing those guys make some plays, and it looks like this is a player that could help them this year. I'll be interested to see if they can do it, consistently in the scrimmages when they're going up against defenders and live tackling and all that.
All right. Missouri last year, great kicker, but kind of really weak in punt returns and kickoff returns. I think they would lose a lot of yardage, basically each trading a possession on that. Has there been anybody that's emerged as candidate maybe to do that?
They're still in the early stages where they're looking at a lot of people. I think a guy we talked about already, TJ Moe, is a real strong candidate for the punt return job. And Carl Geddes did it last year, and he's back. And he kind of just took the fair catch approach most of the time last year. He had a couple of nice returns at times, but not a real dynamic, explosive guy. He was more along the lines of just catch the ball and don't turn it over. And sometimes when you don't have Jeremy Maclin back there, that's the safe route. You would think that the more they recruit at a high level, they can get somebody back there that can do that. Marcus Murphy, a freshman tailback, has taken some in practice, but Pinkel said the other day that he's not really inclined to give that job to such a young kid, maybe somebody at least a year older. And I think TJ Moe would be a good candidate. Kickoff return, Jasper Simmons did the job last year, is back, kind of in the mold of Geddes. I don't think he really blew anybody away. His biggest return of the year got called back on a penalty at Oklahoma State, was really a crucial play. But Munir Prince, cornerback, a backup corner who won't play on the defense as much as Simmons, he could be a good candidate. He's one of the fastest guys on the team, has always been held back by injuries, it seems, but he's healthy now, so I think he's a guy to watch.
All right, and then lastly, since you go back I guess not lastly, the coaches have talked a lot about Terrell Rosano and Dominique Hamilton, kind of the two starters there at defensive tackle, and really glowingly talked about the athleticism of Rosano. That's not somebody we really saw much of last year. He was almost kind of invisible. Now, Hamilton, I think, had some big gains and showed some problems. What do you make of they've been saying about Rosano, and is it a reflection of how talented he is, or do you think it's them sending a message to him through the media that we believe in you and maybe spur you on?
I think on Gary Pinkel's part, I think there's some calculation there because he's done that before. Dave Steckel, I don't know if he really cares that much about how a player's portrayed in the media, but I think there might be a little underlying message with some of his praise that he's kind of showered on Razzano. I mean, they think he's just a great athlete. All the measurables that they measure these guys in the offseason, he's as good as they've had at that position. He just hasn't really translated yet on the field, and it hasn't been very productive. And to Razzano's credit, he's the first to admit it. I mean, he told me last week, he's like, I haven't gotten it done yet. This defense is going to rely on me to be a playmaker, and I have to do it. So I think they believe they've got something there. I mean, Steckel told me the other day that they could be the best tandem at that position that they've had in 10 years. And that's a pretty big statement. I mean, C.J. Mosley and T. Ellison played there in 2004. And both those guys are still in the NFL. Ziggy Hood, whoever he was lined up against, was a pretty good tandem when he had Lorenzo Williams in there, and then Dron Baston, after that. So they've had some good tandems there. So I think it's a pretty bold statement to say that a guy who hasn't played much in Razzano could be even better when he's next there with Hamilton.
I would be surprised if that turns out to be a true
well, I
statement.
mean, we have to see, but they're really building these guys up.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, you go back about 3 years ago, Missouri probably had the best safety combination in the league when they had Pig Brown and William Moore together. Since then, it's kind of been a disaster. There's been a lot of, not just that there haven't been great defensive back play, there's just been a lot of confusion. You'll see guys going to the end zone while two defensive backs are arguing with each other. Mm-hmm. Where do you see that position group now?
That's kind of interesting. In Missouri's philosophy on defense, it really is a kind of a bend but don't break style. I mean, it's patterned after what they do with the Indianapolis Colts and Chicago Bears, and that style works if you've got real dynamic playmakers back there that can get a takeaway, can get interceptions, can make the big stop on third down, and that's what William Moore and Pig Brown did that year. I mean, they made a lot of big plays to make up for some of the yards they might have given up. You just haven't seen that from Missouri since then. I mean, they've got guys that are back there that can come up and hit you and get tackles and occasionally make an interception, but you just don't see very much of it, whether it's Simmons or Jarrell Harrison. Kenja Jackson is a guy who kind of joined the starting lineup 2 years ago, and we thought he was going to be a great player, but sophomore year he didn't do a whole lot. So
almost the same with Geddes at the corner. He had a great freshman year. And
he didn't. Then your expectations naturally go way up for a guy. But I think Geddes is coming around. I think he and Rutland form a pretty good duo there, and they are allowing those guys to play more man coverage, be more physical and aggressive, and that's what they're doing in practice, and it's shown to work so far, and those kids like playing that kind of style. So we'll see. I'm just not quite sold on the safety position yet. They've got a bunch of candidates. There's no shortage of numbers there. They've got 7 or 8 guys that could one day play there, but I just don't quite see the real dynamic William Moore type guy yet.
What about White, a guy that in the spring at least showed some promise?
Yeah, he's not very big. Matt White, a redshirt freshman, really is one of the smaller position players on the team, especially on defense. But he comes up and hits you, and he made a couple interceptions during the spring and last year during two-a-days too. Physically, is he there yet to play in the Big 12 and get in the mix there? Because they require those guys to get involved in the run game a little bit. Not quite sure yet, but I think he's got a chance, and they really like him. They say he's smart, and he knows where to be at the right time.
All right. Well, Missouri's first scrimmage of the preseason is Saturday. We'll be back next week to talk about that. And that's pretty much it. I had nothing to add to that. And look forward to the scrimmage after that.